All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Wrestling Addicts once again right here on HMS TV. I'm Jimmy Anderson, and joining me to my right is the great sports Morpheus and the Gambler's #1 fan, Rich Walker.
One and only.
One and only. One of the greatest wide receivers in minor league football.
Mitchell Brockett attests to this. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but he and I were teammates, and I was part of a phenomenal circus-like catch that led to a first down. So, Jerry Rice, if you're watching, first of all, foremost, my hands are natural. I didn't have to use any stickums. And every time that I was targeted in my career, I never dropped a pass, and I was accountable for 15 yards per catch, which you weren't able to accomplish. So, technically, I'm the best receiver of all time.
All right, I think we're
That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I think we're out of time now. No, I'm kidding. and to my left over here, of course, 13-time world champion, Al Rage Walker.
Sir, how's it going today?
It's going all right.
It's good, it's good.
All right.
Brother got some hair in him, don't he?
I think so, yeah. All right, collectively, we are the Wrestling Addicts. Let's get to it right now. I'm sure all of you who are wrestling addicts know about the controversy surrounding the 2015 Royal Rumble. Yeah, I hear you grumbling already. And that was the Rumble, of course, won by Roman Reigns with the help from his cousin, The Rock. A little nepotism I'm smelling there. That's what there's cooking, I think. And fans, to say the very least, not happy. Not happy. I'm not happy. Rage, I don't know that you're happy about that.
I mean, it's the same pattern we've been seeing for the last 5 years. You know, the writers dropping the ball. You know, in wrestling, timing is everything. And between timing and giving the fans what they want, along with who's hot, that's what you have to work with. And once again, a major opportunity to bring the fans back to where they want to be as far as being happy, and they dropped the ball again.
Well, do you think Roman Reigns is ready?
Technically, I think he's a good choice, but the timing is not right. The timing is not right now. Last year, yeah, but this year, no.
You think last year?
Last year, he would have been a good contender for the championship. I could see him and Daniel Bryan going at it for the championship.
I just think he's too raw. I mean, you know, and we talk about this all the time. WWE tends to spend too much time emphasizing on the aesthetics versus the it factor. I mean, Daniel Bryan, to me, is one of the most well-rounded guys in the business right now. He speaks well. He works the crowd. Great ring technician. Works well with his partner. Calls great spots. Great matches. He never has a bad match.
True.
No. I don't see Roman Reigns on that level yet. I see him as a raw talent. That, you know, I think he needs to get a little bit more experience. He needs to have some more big matches before he put a belt on.
I put it like this: if they can put Miz at the main event at WrestleMania and put a strap on him, then Roman Reigns is definitely.
But you're settling though, because you know, that's the problem with the writers in the WWE right now, is that they are not building these characters. You know, they get a guy like, and I mean, literally, they brought Reigns in with the Shield, and you know, they worked some pay-per-view matches and created a little bit of buzz about it. And I think they broke the Shield up too early. I think they could have done more with that crew. They could have been like the new school.
I disagree with that.
They could have been like the new school Four Horsemen.
Breaking up the Shield was good enough because they had demolished and ran through everybody.
That's the whole idea.
Left.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I thought the timing was just a little off, maybe a little longer.
Right.
It was so sudden.
There was nobody left to fight. Who was there? They smashed The Rock. They destroyed Big Show. They killed Ryback. It wasn't nobody left.
What about the Authority?
Exactly. You could have used Reigns and the Shield to screw the Undertaker. Now that's career changing.
Once again,
that would make sense with the exactly.
That can never be fixed.
That would have made sense with the Edward Lesnar. Yeah, Edward, I'm talking about you again. That would have made sense with the Edward Lesnar storyline about him beating the Undertaker. You know, the Shield just feels as though we're this authority and we don't like the way things are. And you know, they had that edge to them. And I think having a guy like Reigns being involved in something like that, that's something that he hang his career on. So that made Shawn Michaels really that elevated Shawn Michaels from star to megastar by being involved in the Montreal Screwjob. So I think that was an opportunity for Reigns to be along the same line.
I'm with you. I don't think he's quite main event caliber just yet.
Yeah.
I don't think his mic skills are quite on par with guys like Daniel Bryan or even Dean Ambrose.
I mean, but how many guys are with great mic skills right now? I mean, you got a handful, maybe.
That's the sad part. They're not.
I mean, and look at the guys that got mic skills and not being looked at. I mean, look at I can't think of his name right now.
Dean Ambrose.
No, young black guy, really built from Florida.
You talking about Big E?
Not Big E, the other one.
Titus O'Neil.
Titus O'Neil. Yep.
Great build, great athlete,
Yep.
great mic skills.
Works well in the ring.
Works
Yep.
well in the ring, but they just steady toss him out the ring like he's nothing.
Here, about the Royal Rumble, the 4-second elimination. Is
I mean,
that what you're
come
talking
on.
about?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, Vince McMahon was furious about that, and I'll tell you why. They wanted him eliminated in 1 second.
Wow.
But there was a mistiming, and of all the things Vince McMahon could have been frustrated at, that is what he's frustrated at. I think Mr. McAlzheimer's is a little bit out of touch here. I'm
I
sorry.
mean, here you got a guy with great mic skills, good look, very physical, very professional, dress well. You can take something like that and you can build, either he can be the ultimate heel or the ultimate face. And then you take him and just waste him like that. But then you give The Miz all kind of opportunities out this world.
The miserable.
And Miz is there and gone now. I mean, he shouldn't even be on the roster for all I'm concerned.
He needs to go back to wherever that goofy reality show it was he was on.
The Real
MTV,
World,
The
right?
Real World, yeah. He sucks. Miz, you suck.
He really does. He really do.
keep it 100,
there's
man.
nothing appealing about him to me at all.
What do you think about Misdale?
Misdale is funny.
He is.
Sandow.
Good.
Sandow's a guy that's underused. He's got charisma.
Again.
He can work.
He can work.
He's got presence about him.
The fans like him.
The fans like him.
If you notice, all he has to do is mimic the Miz, and everybody is in.
They love him.
When we're watching,
I love it.
When we're watching a Miz and Sandow match, we're watching Sandow
Yeah.
act outside the ring. We don't even care what Miz is doing in the ring. We're watching him.
Whenever Miz come out, the only reason why I watch the Miz is because of Sandow.
Right.
That's the only reason why.
Right.
Other than that, I would change the channel, go get me some coffee.
I like the role he had initially. I mean, I thought he had sort of a Leaping Laney Poffo professor type
I agree.
appeal to him, and it was great. It started off great, and they just killed it for some reason. But
And they're
you got to let these storylines develop. You got to let these characters
They're
develop.
killing it now because they're going to separate them. I can see it coming.
And I don't see where they're going to lead to because they haven't left any plots on where he's going to now.
Right? They didn't have it out.
Nope.
Right.
It's going to kill Sandow's career, I think.
I
Not
hope
kill his
not.
career, but
I hope not.
I
But,
hope
look
not.
at what they did with William Regal, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
That's a guy that, in my opinion, he's a Hall of Famer.
And see what's happening, what they need to do, like they used to do back in the day. They had certain guys picked for certain titles. Like, I will have to give credit to the Russian. He represents the U.S. title well.
I think
he's
so,
a
too.
strong heel. He talks trash. He got a manager. Is well-rounded. And he's the guy that, who's going to beat this guy? He's the U.S. title, and he's Russian. So they did well with that. But the other titles is like, we don't know what to do with it.
he's one of the best things they've got going right now.
Exactly.
I mean, I can see a world title
Right.
in Rusev's future
Oh, yeah, no
if they
doubt.
keep it up. But if they destroy the push, they destroy the character.
Yep.
And they've been doing that a lot. Like Dean Ambrose in the undercard, Dolph Ziggler. Where is he right now? You know what I mean? It's just, it's not.
Dolph Ziggler possesses a lot of talent. And he's another guy that for some reason he just not on the click, roster. So therefore he's only going to get so much. And it shouldn't be about click. It should be about pleasing the fans and
Who
making
earns
money.
it? Yeah, who earns it?
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you guys this. Do you suppose that they're pushing Roman Reigns to be the next John Cena?
No
That's-
doubt.
That's what I'm
No
seeing.
doubt.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
But him being the next John Cena, that's
I don't
a
know about
tall
that,
order.
but yeah.
That's a
That's-
real
that is
tall
a tall order, but I think that they're just so desperate because number one, I think they know.
Daniel Bryan is the man that could be the next John Cena.
Oh, no doubt. I think he'd be bigger than Cena because people actually like him
Why they won't get behind him? I'm just not understanding that.
because he doesn't fit that mold. Like they have this mold stuck in their head that you have to be a big six-pack bearing, muscle-bound guy. And
I mean,
look at how much time they continue to waste on Ryback.
I mean, that's that. And
Ryback?
again, it's like Ryback is mid-card, maybe below mid-card guy. He's not the WrestleMania main eventer, no.
Right.
No, he's not polished enough. I really don't think he has it physically.
I don't think he's got it. He's a gym
He's
rat.
just basic.
Well, here's another thing about Roman Reigns. You know, in the old days, you guys remember, the crowd could be controlled.
Yes.
Right.
Essentially, whatever Vince McMahon wanted you to believe, you would believe, especially the young. It doesn't work that way now. Fans are a lot smarter. And I don't know if Vince McMahon realizes that, does he?
Well, see, fans know that when they come to this show, they know it's a show. But they want to see how far you can manipulate their minds into believing that, this is not real, but man, it's so good. I'm just off into it.
Right.
You want the fans when they leave in this place that they don't want to leave.
Yeah.
Where instead you got fans leaving before the show's over because they pissed off because they ain't been done right.
Yeah, you've got to. What am I looking for? Be encapsulated by it.
Right.
Exactly.
You have to live vicariously through these wrestlers, and right now that's not happening.
Right.
A lot of the fans now look at the matches and they're like, "Well, he botched that spot," or
I mean, the average
didn't
fan works 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. When they save their money and go to a show, they expect to be entertained. And when you don't do that, then you flip the cards the wrong way.
Absolutely, and that's where the trouble lies, is that they're trying to tell the fans and program the fans how they should be thinking.
That's
That
not
does
going to work.
Nope.
That's a waste of money. That is not going to work.
Especially in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah.
That is one of the toughest crowds to
yes.
run is Philadelphia
Yes.
because of
Yes.
ECW and how
You can ask the Philadelphia Eagles, man. And I mean, that team hasn't won they never won a Super Bowl, but I mean, the Eagles go through hell with their fan base.
Yeah, the fans
So
don't play. They stick
They
together.
don't play.
They stick together.
I mean, and the fans were ready to riot over these things.
Yeah.
I mean, now let me ask this: should they stop running Philadelphia for a while?
No.
No,
You don't think
never.
so?
Never. They
Just
just
need
got
to
to change
get
the
their act
formula.
together, yeah.
Change the formula.
But do you think the smart fans in Philadelphia are going to be interested in what WWE is doing, no matter what? Because remember, this is like an ECW.
Wrestling fans going to always be interested, but if a better selection comes along, they're going to have a serious problem. You know.
It's got to happen soon. I mean, it's just ridiculous that, I mean, it's one thing to disappoint the fans every now and then, because you can't always have what you want. That would be
Exactly.
kind of bad.
I agree.
But to consistently do it.
And to me, it's like it's being done on purpose because it's too many opportunities that I've seen that I say should have went this way and it went the wrong way.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to discuss more on this as well as the upcoming pay-per-view Fastlane when Wrestling Addicts continues after these messages. Stay with us. Hi, I'm Jimmy Anderson, the host of Wrestling Addicts, here with fellow addict Al Rage Walker, 13 times world heavyweight champion on the independent scene and a drug-free champion, I might add.
That's right.
No steroids.
Never.
No cocaine.
Never.
Nothing.
Never. All my life been drug-free.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
I got to get your help on something.
Okay.
I've been having trouble sleeping lately, and since you're a drug-free guy, maybe you know a natural cure for insomnia.
Oh, let me see what I can do for you.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Anderson of Wrestling Addicts, and there's an ongoing battle outside of the wrestling ring, and that is the battle of breast cancer. While it may not be overcome just yet, with your help, we can all form a tag team and destroy breast cancer.
I'm Mitchell Brock, and I myself have two very dear individuals to me who are survivors. My own mother is a survivor. Mama, I love you. Also, a good friend of mine is a survivor. They smack cancer.
Absolutely. Together we could join this fight and just lay the smackdown on cancer.
I'm outraged. I'm in this fight for cancer. We need to eliminate it. It needs to be done, and it's a main event.
So help us fight cancer, and remember, get tested early.
So join us in the ultimate battle royal as we defeat breast cancer. Take a look on your screen and take a look at the information as to how you can join our tag team fight in battling breast cancer. Welcome back to Wrestling Addicts. I'm Jimmy Anderson. We're seen every 2 weeks right here on this station, HMS TV, at 12:30. Of course, you're watching it right now, we hope. And hopefully you're following us on social media as well. On Facebook, The Wrestling Addicts Show is where you would follow us, and on Twitter, at Wrestling Addicts. We were talking before the break in our first segment about the Royal Rumble and the fans and their disappointment. They're being irate. You know, the WWE lost millions of dollars, I would presume, in cancellations of the network.
Yep.
Weren't there about 200,000 subscriptions out the window? And that equates to roughly $2 million that they lost. I mean, that is a problem.
Yeah.
And how can they fix it? I mean, they've got to, I think they've got to push the wrestlers that the fans want to see in the spotlight and that are really are ready, instead of trying to program the fans' minds. That's becoming a big problem.
They will absolutely go broke trying to program the fans. The fans have their own mind and have their mind made up on who they like and who they don't like. It's like this. The fans have their favorite and who they want to boo and who they want to cheer. And when you put the wrong person as the top bad guy and the wrong person as the top good guy, it's going to be a major problem.
It's one of the things I admired about the Attitude Era is that you didn't have to play favorites and you didn't have to play to the... They chose who they wanted to cheer for, and Vince seemed to listen back
Well,
then.
if you look at the Attitude Era, the guys that were the front runners, they was already polished. I mean, backstage, you had guys that were literally on the bench that would have been major superstars today. It was that much competition back there because everybody back there was completely polished.
Sure.
It wasn't like they had to take us, send it to this school over here, come over here to this school, and then let's see he may work or not. Now, everybody that was on the front line was superstars, and you had major superstars sitting on the bench that didn't even get a chance to even go out there and do what they doing and see what's going on. Now you had guys that, let's say you got the superstars Attitude Era, then you had the second team, then you had the third team.
Right.
Well, the team that's starting right now is on the JV squad.
Yep.
I know.
You brought up a good point, and I think one of the things that we saw in the Attitude Era was, like you said, that progression from, all right, I'm on the third team. Now I'm starting to work my way up towards the mid card and start to interact with the main event talent, but not necessarily have matches. And then you allow these guys to progress. Perfect example was Edge and Christian.
Yep.
You remember they started out with the Brood, very low end. They were backing up Gang Gorilla of all people. Come on, give me a break. But they worked their way up, and then they became, Edge and Christian, the tag team with the photo bomb and the 3-second pose and tag team champions and all the little different angles they ran. And then eventually, of course, they split apart. But both of those guys became main event caliber talent because they were groomed.
And
Exactly.
Vince paid attention and he listened to the fans.
Yeah, and he listened to the fans, because when people start buying into the Edge and Christian connection, they started to give them more airtime and put them in bigger matches and
Remember when The Rock was a major heel? Okay. And then the fans just started cheering him all of a sudden. They fight.
Oh, he knows because they were on the same team with the Nation of Domination.
Well, I know, yeah. I mean, he was, and then they started cheering, and Vince again listened.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about with the Attitude Era. Vince listened to the fans. He figured out, okay, we can't program. It seemed like back then he knew you couldn't program him.
Right.
And they could switch babyface and heel based on the crowd reaction.
Not only did Vince listen, but the characters listen as well. They would try different things, and when they saw that what they tried would get the fans going, like, when Stone Cold came with the what thing, it was by accident. He said, wait a minute, I think I got something going on here. And before you know it, everybody, you got 15, 20,000 fans saying, what? I mean...
I'm sorry, guys. That's the most annoying thing.
I love it. I love it.
Like that.
I love it. I find myself watching TV and I just say, what?
I mean,
what?
How long has Stone Cold been away from the WWE?
Got to be close to 10 years.
They still chant.
And they still chant it to this day. Now, that don't make no sense.
Yep.
But that shows you the kind of effect that the guys back then had on the show, the fans, even outside the circle of the WWE. They were doing TV commercials, talk shows, showing up on Johnny Carson's show, Jay Leno. I mean,
people in pop culture were mimicking The Rock and Stone Cold. You had football players make a tackle and do the people's elbow dance or something like that. On the ball or stuff like that.
You don't see that.
You don't see that anymore.
Here's the problem, and you brought up a great point, Outrage, that the wrestlers were allowed to try new things.
Right.
They're not allowed to do that now. They have to stick by that script that they write, and that's a problem. You don't need writers, you need bookers.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Well, here's the deal. When you take veteran wrestlers out the game and you get some kid from out of college that got education or a degree or whatever, and you stick them in that environment, you're taking a huge risk. Because number one, if you haven't been there, how can you talk about it? If you haven't been in that ring, what do you know about only what you see on TV?
Right.
You have to be inside that circle in order to feel, sweat, tears, get your behind kicked to know how this thing works. Because on a smaller circuit, if you can make 200 fans shout, you can easily make 20,000 fans stand on their feet.
Right.
Exactly.
And one thing you mentioned earlier, which I think is missing, not just from the right, we know the writers suck. WWE writers, you suck. Okay, you suck. You're terrible at your job. You're almost like traditional sports media, which we'll talk about. You watch our sports show, but the talent doesn't seem to work together as well. Like, perfect example, when you guys were with the Nation of Domination, it started off as Farouk was the lead,
Exactly.
and D'Lo, The Rock, and the rest of the guys were behind him. But people started to buy into more of The Rock's character, and you saw that transition where, hey, Farouk said, "Hey, dude, run with this," and he kind of took a step back and let The Rock be sort of the lead. And so I don't see that
Chemistry.
exchange. Exactly. That chemistry between the talent now.
Yeah.
I see John Cena coming out there in a match, and the crowd is in. For example, John Cena versus Daniel Bryan. The crowd's into Daniel Bryan, and John Cena still doing his same goofy little, and all this crap, is still, with the stupid little Wonder Woman arm bracelets and all this crap. And he's not trying to help get Daniel Bryan, put Daniel Bryan over.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's a perfect example. The mindset was, hey, you're hot right now, run.
Well, see, another thing, if you notice, you compare John Cena to like The Rock. From the time rocking with the Nation until he moved up to being a single tag team world champion or whatever, if you look at all those situations, he evolved. Whereas that John Cena was like the rapper, then he went to,
Oh my goodness.
what he's doing now, and he's stuck with what he's still doing back
Still
then.
doing Fruity Pebbles after
Yeah,
all these years.
it just, you got to evolve, and he hasn't done that.
I think a great example is The Rock as far as Roman Reigns goes, because it's strange, and not only are they cousins, but I'm seeing a great parallel here, because remember when The Rock came in '96, late '96, Survivor Series, was it not? And then they kept pushing him down people's throats. In '97, he won the IC belt, and people were chanting "Rocky die," "Rocky sucks," and all of
The
that.
Rocky Maivia character.
Yes,
but
the
they
Rocky
were smart enough
Maivia
to kill it.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Vince listened, and I think he had an injury. Is that correct? That
Yeah,
kept him out of
a
action.
leg or a knee.
And then they turned him heel when he came back, and his promo skills developed greatly.
Right.
And he was just a natural heel. Even as a babyface, he was a heel.
Right.
He was one of those guys. And what do you guys think? I mean, you're seeing similar situations here with Roman Reigns vis-a-vis The Rock, so to speak. That's what I'm saying. What do you guys
when Rock came out to help, give his cousin a little push or whatever, by making the appearance, raising his hand, the crowd booed. I think to save that would have been if Roman Reigns would have turned on The Rock right there on the
Yes.
spot. That would have been a major pop.
Like you said, yeah.
He would have had the fans there in Philadelphia going crazy, and then you got a perfect angle for WrestleMania. Pull Roman Reigns away from the championship, but you still got a major fight, a family fight
Yep.
for you.
That's another main event.
Yep.
And then, like I said, this is something that Reigns could build his career. It's a building
Exactly.
block.
That's
He
what
can
it
build his
started
career
from.
on. Just like Shawn Michaels went from the Rockers, Shawn Michaels, to single Shawn Michaels to Ice Screw Bret Hart. Boom, megastar,
Bam.
DX, the whole nine.
Yeah.
And I think they're missing the opportunity. It says a lot when the fans are booing you and The Rock is in the ring next to you.
It gets no
It's-
higher than
that-
that.
And they were
It
booing
gets
The
no higher than
Rock.
that.
Yeah.
They were booing The
They was
Rock.
they was booing.
They were booing Reigns, but it's like
But The Rock wasn't helping matters.
right, exactly.
They didn't care. That's
Right.
how bad. That's how frustrated.
The
they
fire
didn't
was
care.
so hot, you dump water on it, it still burned.
Still burned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had a crowd that was confronting the wrestlers outside of the arena. But it's not the wrestlers' fault.
Nope.
Well,
It's-
that would have
They
been
was doing what
that
they
probably would have been a better match than what they had on the card. So that's probably why they decided to do that.
But what's sad is this is not the first Rumble in a long time in which the fans have been disappointed. If you remember the 2014 Rumble,
Oh,
Batista
goodness.
came back, and Daniel Bryan wasn't even in it, and Rey Mysterio got the heck booed out of him because it wasn't Daniel Bryan as the number 30 entrant.
And not to mention WrestleMania, they're on sort of a losing streak with WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Because of course you got the ultimate screw up last year, and then also you put John Cena over The Rock straight up. Come on. People still talking about that. Come on.
That makes sense.
That makes sense at all.
Yeah. And
They killing it.
Yeah.
They killing it.
they wonder
Not in a
why
good way either.
they wonder why they're losing money. And there was a Yahoo article, I don't know if you guys saw this, but they said that WWE could be in financial trouble. Is there a chance they could be out of business?
If major changes don't start like right now, and especially with WrestleMania coming up, it could be a nonstop spiral down to the valley of death.
I'm not a conspiracy theory kind of guy, but I had a thought that on the surface it may sound ridiculous, but when you think about it long term, it might make sense. Vince is at the end of his reign, regardless, and the WWE is a publicly traded company, and one of the things that drives the stock price for a publicly traded company is good news. So why not undervalue the WWE, lose some subscriptions, lose some money, piss people off, and then announce that Vince McMahon is leaving? Stock price rises, he cashes out his stock, golden parachute, he goes home with a lot of money. I mean, it's a huge risk, but if you recall, he is no longer a certified billionaire, and I know that that's something that bothers Vince, and I know he doesn't sleep well at night, and that could be something that could potentially double the stock price and put him back in billionaire status, and then he goes off into retirement.
If it doesn't work, it's over.
Well, I think it's regardless, the stock price is going to rise because, like, you know, if you have a CEO of a bad company leave, it's good news. That means the future is brighter.
You really think Vince McMahon's going to give up that company without dying?
We talking about Vince McMahon. Though.
He been there and done that. I mean, there's nothing left for him to do. He done it all.
I know, but he's still stuck in this bubble that he knows what he's talking about, and he doesn't.
Well, he was hoping that, you know, Stephanie and Triple H can pick up and, you know, take it and run with it, but they're having major problems right now, so I don't know.
We're going to have to find out how that goes, and we're going to talk a little bit about Fastlane, and right after this, stay with us.
Hey folks, this is Mitchell Brock.
This is Richard Walker, the great sports Morpheus with Bring the Pain Sports.
We're here at the 2015 Paul Bear Bryant Award presentation brought to you by the American Heart Association. Now for you BTP sports fans who watch our show, you guys know we like to have fun and clown around and laugh on the show.
I want to talk to you for a minute about something very serious and something very near and dear, and that is heart disease.
600,000 Americans die each year from heart disease.
Just think about that for a second. The most populous game that you probably saw this year was close to 100,000 people. Multiply that times 6.
Folks, that's 1 in 4, which is 25%. And a lot of people look at heart disease as a disease that kills men. Well, the statistics show that over the past 30 years, more women than men have actually died from heart disease.
600,000 seat stadiums full of people every year pass away due to heart disease. And a lot of those instances could be prevented. Things such as living a healthier lifestyle, getting early prevention and detection.
So join us, BTP Sports, and the American Heart Association in the fight. The information is on the screen.
Bring the Pain Sports supports the American Heart Association in the fight to prevent heart disease.
Welcome back to Wrestling Addicts, and we've been talking about Fastlane throughout the show. Let's go ahead and get to it right now. This is the new pay-per-view they created to replace the Elimination Chamber, which I feel is a mistake, and Richard's already ready to fall asleep over it.
I'm sorry, you said Fastlane. I was so bored I fell asleep.
Yeah, I know. I got
How
you.
lame, come on.
That's a lame name, isn't it?
Lame-o. Didn't get much lamer than that.
I know, and the Elimination Chamber was an exciting match, and it sold for a hill of beans now. According to Stephanie McMahon, it's because of the way arenas are now set up with the big jumbo monitors in the way of where the...
You work in logistics. You guys run pay-per-view events. You know about this stuff in ahead of time. Why in the hell don't you just contact these people and plan? If your facility can't support the Elimination Chamber setting, then you find a place that does, and that's where you have your pay-per-view. That's Hollywood 101. You make sure the facility can handle your set.
What do you think, a mistake?
Big mistake. I mean, Elimination Chamber is like the genesis of going into WrestleMania. And, you know, people look forward to that every year, and I was very shocked when I found out that they were changing it and just created this new thing that has no beginning. I mean...
It's another pay-per-view.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
And
boring.
What I think is ridiculous is, you know, this whole storyline. I guess they're trying to make up for their Rumble screw-ups, having Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns have that match to determine who gets the #1 contender slot for the championship at the championship shot at WrestleMania, and that defeats the Rumble.
And to me, that just puts a dagger through the Rumble.
Yeah.
And
Completely devalued.
you completely just ran over Roman Reigns of any chance of recovering from that. And now you're playing ping pong with Daniel Bryan. I mean, make up your mind. I mean,
Exactly.
it's very frustrating for even a veteran like myself to watch this stuff on TV and like, who in the hell is driving this bus? Because you're going right off the cliff with it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, it's perfectly simple. Daniel Bryan should be in WrestleMania going against Brock Lesnar. It's simple. David versus Goliath. It always works.
Always. Works.
I have read that WWE does not want to cave in like they did last year as far as creative goes based on the fans' reactions. But at some point you've got to cave in.
Right.
As a fan, I mean, that's got to be disappointing.
It's a huge disappointment because, like I said before, nothing against Roman Reigns. I think he's a guy with potential, but you don't put potential in the main event at WrestleMania.
No.
You put a guy that's polished, that's earned his stripes, that's won some big battles, that's worked some storylines. That's what does Roman Reigns have behind him besides the work that he did with the Shield?
And I'll bet as
Nothing.
a wrestler, it infuriates you even more.
Well, it's very infuriating because they taking guys that, once again, not polished, not ready, and they're trying to make them into superstars. But when you compare each one that they've ever tried with, compared to the Attitude Era, it's a joke. Those guys would have never had a chance because they wasn't polished and ready.
And you have veteran guys on that roster that you're literally wasting the prime of Randy Orton's career. I mean, they're throwing that in the trash. I mean, he's the kind of guy I would like to see in the main event at WrestleMania, not Edward Lesnar and Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. Well, let me ask you this, Richard, as a fan, who do you want to see go over in that match? Daniel Bryan
Daniel
or Roman
Bryan,
Reigns?
no doubt. I mean, they have to fix their screw up. They can't let another Taker versus Edward Lesnar happen again. They have to fix it.
Now, as a wrestler, what do you want to see? And you know a little bit about the booking side of
Definitely
things.
Daniel Bryan, but I must admit, even though Lesnar hasn't made that many appearances, he has been impressive as a real tough heel every time he comes out. I must admit he's stepping his game up.
Oh, there's no doubt about his skills in the ring. It's just he's never there.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always said that Brock Lesnar Edward Lesnar. You haven't heard that yet, Brock. You haven't been in the ring yet. Edward Lesnar is a high quality talent. He just doesn't work. That's the problem. That's why you call it.
I mean, whose fault is that? Is that his or is that
It's a combination of both. I mean, if you're the
allowing
champion,
that to happen?
if you're the champion, you got to speak up and say, "Hey, dude, I'm the champion. I want to work. I want to put my title on the line. I'm not going to sit at home and sable all day. I want to get out." Well, that's actually not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not, but it's not good for business.
Well, it's not good for business. Yeah.
Now, but here's the thing, though. I just can't see Daniel Bryan going up against Brock Lesnar. It just seems
It's a
kind of
perfect storyline. I mean, you got
The underdog, you
the
think?
underdog against the super monster. I mean, that always says.
Good storyline, wrong time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wrong time, wrong main event. Good storyline, but like I said, first of all, there was no build to it. There wasn't much build to Reigns' character. Period. Once he left the Shield, it's just he left the Shield. He worked a couple of matches. He got hurt. He disappeared. He comes back. He's the number one contender.
Wouldn't it be kind of strange, but I don't know how this would go, what you guys think of this, to have Reigns go over Bryan, Reigns goes to WrestleMania, faces Brock Lesnar, and there's a screw job where the Shield comes back, kind of forms together? Think that would be kind of a weird idea, kind of ludicrous?
I don't think it would serve a purpose because they're back together. There's no title. Where would it lead to? Because the Shield already established as being the number one threat of all time ever, so there's nothing left to accomplish.
And then you lose the steam from Ambrose and Rollins as well. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm just trying to come up with some idea that would make sense, and I can't come up with one, except Daniel Bryan, but then that defeats the Royal Rumble.
Right. Like I said,
So
the
it's
Royal
a
Rumble,
lose-lose situation.
The Royal Rumble was their opportunity to get it right, and they simply didn't.
Yeah, and they're trying to make amends, but at the same time, the storyline just doesn't make sense.
Right.
I mean,
Not at all.
Well, okay, Al, you're Booker. What would you do?
At this point in time, to save WrestleMania and to get things back rolling, to just throw everybody into a whole nother lane, I would have Sting bring back WCW.
Wow.
How would you do that?
Oh, easily. He'd come out there and smash some people. NWO come out, end of the show. Now, we done got something going now.
That'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, oh, most definitely.
Because I mean, he's the X factor in all this. I mean, are they just going to use him to work one match?
Exactly.
I mean, this should the Sting appearance should be a paradigm shift.
Yep.
You know, like I said, you know, they had opportunities to go back into the Attitude Era that they missed. I think, you know, you're right. You know, so it has to be something that's transcending that. Oh my God, they did that, and then you get people talking again, and you know, you
start imagining the Monday Night Wars coming again. You know, get them all riled up, and then once you do that, then you can take your stars that are not ready, and you have time to develop them, build them up to where the next WrestleMania you got WWE versus WCW, and between that 12 months, you got enough time to build who should be the champion for WWE, the champion from WCW.
What concerns
And then after that, you can kill WCW if it's not working well, and you reestablish WWE with the right champion.
Well, you can always infuse the NXT talent into WCW.
There you go. There you go.
I don't know if you folks, if you haven't watched NXT, man, you are missing a treat. Man. Those guys put on a hell of a show.
That's what I'm talking about.
So they just need a platform, but those guys are working.
What concerns me is that they're going to bury whatever competition they have. Because
Including
remember
their
the
own
invasion?
internally,
Remember the invasion storyline? I mean, they just killed WCW with that. They had Austin and The Rock going at it, WCW versus WWF championships at stake.
Right.
And one of the biggest matches in wrestling history that could have been was fought between two WWF guys. Vince, I think that was, I don't know what you guys think, but I think that was his way of killing WCW and saying, I'm the boss, I'm in control.
It was an ego thing because he wanted the satisfaction of saying that he killed Ted Turner's product. I bought it, I owned it, I slapped him around, I treated his guys like crap, and then I threw him in the trash.
And that was an unfortunate thing because that could have turned into a mega.
Personally, if I were Vince, I would have kept it on the low. I wouldn't even announced that I was the owner.
No doubt.
I would have just, hey, some investor group bought WCW and just keep it on the low and have two separate creative teams so your products don't mix.
Exactly.
But you can still do the invasion angle, but
have them run in.
Have them run in.
Now that would have been
just like the Monday Night Wars when you had DX go out there with the Jeep and then you can still be doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, news people talking about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great.
Or remember when Scott Hall came in to WCW and then Kevin Nash followed, and people were thinking they worked for the WWF at the time, which they didn't.
Yep.
And I don't know if they were still under contract or not. I know maybe not, no compete clause.
It was over.
Or something. I'm not sure.
They blew it. I mean, you had some free agent talent that first of all you let some really good guys go. Alberto Del Rio, I thought was a guy major loss over some foolishness. And then you had an opportunity to bring Kurt Angle back, but you don't because of egos. And Kurt Angle is a guy that could have extended John Cena's career. You put those two in an angle, and
I mean, Kurt Angle's a complete package.
Yeah,
he can wrestle, he can talk, he has a great character.
It's true.
He brings presence to the TV. He can work the crowd. I mean, what more do you need?
But what about?
And he's a veteran.
Using him as an advisor might be because he's so broken down now.
I mean,
Injury.
He can still work. He just didn't have to work like Monday Night Raws. He can still work like
good idea.
Pay-per-views.
Right.
I think he's got some good matches left in him. He won't be a full-time or
most definitely.
I don't think he can be.
No. Yeah. But he can work. Like I said, you can take a guy like him and have him work with Cena, and it'll actually be interesting.
Yeah.
It'll be a good,
sure.
Yeah.
Or he can help develop Roman Reigns. That'd be a good angle.
Yeah.
And I mean, or you can always bring the commissioner role back. Kurt Angle would be a phenomenal commissioner.
Because right now, that's a weak thing going on. Right
and now, the commissioner role allows you to have flexibility because if you do something like the Roman Reigns thing and you screw up, you can always have the commissioner take the heat. The commissioner, I'm the commissioner, and I don't care who won the Royal Rumble. I said that this guy is fighting blah 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 blah. And you have all that controversy, and so they dropped the ball on that.
Sad thing is this authority is running it. I think they've hammered that and ran it into the ground. Yeah. I am not a fan.
And they brought him back. It was
well because Seth Rollins was going to curb stomp Edge into the briefcase.
Yeah,
that was it. I mean. Anyway, and Michael Cole kind of spoiled that too. Remember, he's like,
Michael Cole.
I think he wants the authority back. No kidding, Michael. No kidding. Yeah, I think we could kind of figure that out on our own.
Michael Cole is a wart on the rear end of the WWE announced team.
Even the WCW announced.
Yeah, he sucks.
With Tony Schiavone, the greatest night in the history of our
Michael
sport.
Cole sucks.
And Vince, what a maneuver, McMahon.
Yeah.
Just pathetic. And they're telling him what to say, and they're joking around during Raw. They're not putting over the action.
Yeah.
That's horrible. I can't listen to
They're
it.
not calling the match like they should. It's more conversation and more, I don't think a lot of them know the moves, know how to call the moves or whatever.
And plus, you got people talking in their ear, and JBL's not helping matters. I think he's one of the worst out there. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. And we got more opinions coming up as Wrestling Addicts is going to continue right after these messages from BTP Sports. Stay with us.
Let's start off with the NFC East because it seems like we have some fans in here that are NFC East fans, particularly Cowgirls. The New York Giants, we can kind of just throw them underneath the bus because that whole new offensive scheme.
Oh my goodness.
Eli Manning has, even though he has 2 Super Bowl rings, he sucks.
You didn't call any other quarterback in that whole division sucks. You made the Super Bowl champion suck. But you didn't use that reference to RG3's play right now.
How long ago was he a Super Bowl champion?
How long has Romo been one?
Shots fired.
Captain.
No, wait,
I have been fat, skinny, and fat again since the last time that Eli Manning was an effective quarterback.
Look,
we're talking about now.
And
what have you done for me lately, Eli?
Right. And
what have you done for me lately?
Romo just got off the surgery table. Okay, RG3 is still in a brace. So far as I'm concerned, the whole division sucks. So you're just picking the best of
The Texans have just got a real deal quarterback. In my case, which we said,
Go blue.
hey, where did the Go Blue come from?
Ryan Mallon went to Michigan, man.
No, he didn't.
Goodness.
He went to Arkansas.
He transferred from
He
Michigan.
transferred from
he
Michigan.
transferred from Michigan.
Because
He
they
graduated
You
from
see,
Arkansas.
it's the Michigan rule. If you
If you in Michigan,
if you step off the plane
and
in
you're
the state of Michigan and you do something, you're successful, then they steal credit for it.
who are your picks for the AFC South and why?
You gonna start with me?
Let's
Yeah,
start.
you the big mouth.
Yeah.
Simply put, Indianapolis Colts and the Three Dwarfs. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line on the AFC South. The Colts are going to win 12 or 13 games. They're going to have their way with the AFC South. It's not even going to be close.
Oh wow.
Agree.
So you just disagree with all of my defense that I have in Houston? Really? That's not a word.
The Indianapolis Colts are going to beat the Texans
That's
twice.
not what I asked
They're
you.
going to beat the Jaguars twice. They're going to beat the Titans twice. They're going to win 12 or 13 games.
They're gonna sweep the division.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
They're up 21-0 on the Texans right
I
now.
don't think they're going to sweep that. My team has had some changes and some flaws. That's honest. I think the Cowgirls' fault is they can't ever be honest with themselves. They're still confused. Which one? I don't know. You don't know what side you're on. I'm sure it'll be okay.
Oh, boy.
But anyway, the point is, I think the team will definitely do better than they did last year.
So that's not,
Hey.
that's not saying much.
It's saying much because
You got off from the ground to your knees.
you should let me finish your sentence.
I'm just saying.
Y'all stay on y'all knees in the Cowboys.
You two have built up quite a rivalry because we know that you are a Cowboys fan.
Well, of course.
And we know
Cowgirl.
that you, Captain, are a Texans fan.
Die hard.
And now you
And we
live
know,
here.
and we know that Cowboys slaughter cattle.
Cowgirls go get their old rings out,
Oh.
the trunk, and start shining them up. Man, remember when? Remember when? That's what they do every time they lose.
He has 2 division champion t-shirts.
I bet you they come out a lot.
She probably paid $150 for 2 of them because they're not used to success. They would happy to get She's got 2
And
t-shirts.
Tony Romo won you one when?
We got a division title.
I said
with Romo.
Tony Romo
We got a
won you
division
one.
title with Romo.
One, and then what happened in that playoff game?
Oh, he posted the
It
snap.
was
He won it for the other team. What? Say
It was
about
against the second
Oh,
round
that's
opponent.
Seattle. That was that Seattle year.
When we go to the playoffs, we get buys. We don't sneak and barter and beg and trade slushies for playoff spots.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Anderson, the host of Wrestling Addicts, here with fellow addict Al Rage Walker. 13 times world heavyweight champion on the independent scene and a drug-free champion, I might add.
That's right.
No steroids.
Never.
No cocaine.
Never.
Nothing.
Never. All my life been drug-free.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
I got to get your help on something.
Okay.
I've been having trouble sleeping lately, and since you're a drug-free guy, maybe you know a natural cure for insomnia.
Oh, let me see what I can do for you.
Kid freaked out, ticket. Oh yeah, I'm the unmacho man, Jimmy Anderson, sitting in the seat, talking to you in the video scope for the wrestling addicts. Yeah, sitting next to me is the big Hulk Reach Walker. Ticket.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. You're gonna sit down in your chair every week and you're gonna tune in to Wrestling Addicts because we give you the best coverage out there, brother, about everything involving the squared circle and anything involving the industry. You're gonna watch this show and you're gonna get the best in the business, brother. You can guarantee you that.
You don't watch, I'll give you an elbow drop so bad it'll broke your throat just like I did Ricky Steamboat. Yeah, and if Rafael Guzman and Outrage Walker are out there, you guys better be watching this too because you are fellow wrestling addicts just like me, the unmacho man Jimmy Anderson, right here on Wrestling Addicts on this station. Dig it!
Welcome back to Wrestling Addicts. And one more time, we'll give you the social media information. The Wrestling Addicts Show on Facebook, at Wrestling Addicts on Twitter. And speaking of that, the man over here responsible for that account, Rafael Guzman, has finally come in to Rafael has come back to Wrestling Addicts. And what about his absence, Rich?
Well, I mean, we were doing just fine without him, to be honest. You know, there's a government-assisted program for the underprivileged wrestling fan that, you know, we partake in, so we're fulfilling our quota right now.
It's all good.
The new Stone Cold. I love the dude.
Well, like Stone Old.
Whatever. I thought you're Stone Old. Okay. I'm going bald, so I took Mitchell Brock's advice.
Let it go.
So
Let it go.
Let it go.
Let it go. Yeah.
So I got your respect now, right?
Welcome to the team.
Yeah.
It's going anyway. Isn't
Team
it?
ball guy.
I guess mine's going too. I just didn't have time to shave it. But
It's going away like WWE subscribers. Oh
No, they reached. No.
Hashtag cancel my hair.
Vince McMahon announced the 1 million subscribers.
yeah.
How appropriate is that right after the hashtag cancel WWE?
He's not a millionaire.
I don't know.
Wow.
It was supposed to be 1 million, supposedly. I'm not buying it.
Neither am I.
Now, you weren't you listening to the show during our last segment, and let's get your thoughts on some of the goings-on of WWE. The Rumble, Reigns, the overpush. What do you think?
I think that the push happened at the wrong time. I'll tell you why. If you remember last year during the Royal Rumble, they brought Batista back, which at that time the fans wanted Reigns to win last year, and Daniel Bryan, which is kind of weird. They just didn't want Batista to win.
Right.
This year, they didn't want Roman Reigns to win because Daniel Bryan came back from injury sooner than what he was expected to. Mm-hmm. So they wanted him and Ziggler to win. And you guys know Philly, the way those fans are ECW fans. They're heel fans.
We were talking about that earlier.
They're not babyface fans, and Roman Reigns is being pushed as a babyface. Mm-hmm. So they were chanting, "We want refunds." They were chanting BS. You know, they were chanting, God knows what else they were chanting. All kinds of stuff. They had if Roman wins, we will riot sign in the crowd.
Wow.
And he did, and they rioted out in the park.
Yes, they did. So that goes to show you, they were pissed off.
They weren't happy.
The match card was horrible. The booking was horrible. The triple threat match was great. Mm-hmm. Loved it. The way Daniel Bryan got eliminated, there was no drama to it. It was no he was hanging on by a thread. He just got eliminated. Ziggler got eliminated within 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. So
we talked about this earlier in the show, but Titus O'Neil's elimination, the 4-second elimination. You know why Vince McMahon was furious about that? because it was mistimed. There
course.
was a miscommunication. It was supposed to be 1 second. Of all the things Mr.
Horrible, just
Alzheimer's could
horrible.
be furious about,
Just horrible.
that was that.
You know what? Let me ask you guys this, since I have it in my thoughts. Zack Ryder's a guy that the fans want. They're always chanting, "We want Ryder." He's talented, but the way they booked him and the way they've used him, it's. What do y'all think about that?
I'm not seeing it right now, are you?
No.
No, but I'm just saying that
Zack Ryder was
he
like,
gets over with the crowd. You know what I'm
Zack
saying?
Ryder is like a switch on your wall. You know, when you want to go in the room, you turn the light on, and you go in there, you do what you got to do, and you leave. Therefore, you don't need the light anymore. Just light it off.
Well, before we get into WrestleMania, let's talk about who should be in the top spot, who some of the big names should be. And I'll start with you. You mentioned Zack Ryder. Is that one of your opinions?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, so who are some of your guys?
Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, Brock Lesnar, of course,
Edward.
or Edward Lesnar.
Do
And
you think
you know what?
Lesnar should be in the top spot?
Well, he draws. I mean, you know.
Okay.
And I would say I like Rusev.
Most definitely.
Rusev is, if you're gonna push someone, definitely Rusev.
You see a world title reign in his future?
In the future, yes.
It should be.
There should be, yes. He's a good wrestler, yes.
What about you?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, I think Randy Orton is the biggest waste of talent right now in the WWE.
He's injured, isn't he?
Well, yeah, but I mean, even when he wasn't, they had him just kind of here and there, like no real direction with his character. He's a guy that I think he's in the prime of his career. He should be having his championship runs right now. I think Cena should. He got to change his character. He's got to turn heel
Or walk away.
or walk away.
He's been there for 11 years now.
Yeah, for crying out loud, do something. Even turn him back into the corny thug or something.
Well, as long as his merchandise is selling the way it's selling,
Yeah.
they're not going to change him.
No, they're not.
Forget about it.
And your top guys would be?
I would pick from the people that's not being pushed, and that would be, like I told you guys earlier, the 1 second guy who Vince was mad about.
Titus O'Neil.
Titus O'Neil should be pushed big time.
Big time.
Waste of talent, just total waste of talent.
Another guy that I think has a lot of talent and is not getting a push is God, what's the guy's name? I just hit it. That does the swing.
Cesaro.
Cesaro.
Yep.
Cesaro, man. That dude is.
Okay, let me tell you. Cesaro last year at the WrestleMania,
Yeah.
he threw the Big Show over the top rope.
Yeah,
Right.
It was
that
impressive.
was impressive.
Impressive. Why the heck do you have him now teaming up with? Well, Tyson Kidd is cool. Why do you have him with Adam Rose and the Rosebuds?
And he's jobbing.
Somebody, I'm telling you,
Somebody need to get fired. Seriously.
if I was there, every writer on staff would be fired
I agree.
immediately.
I agree.
Clean house, because that's just ridiculous.
You know, aside from Daniel Bryan, I think that's one of the most obvious picks. I've got two in mind. Dolph Ziggler for one.
Yep.
Dean Ambrose is another.
Oh, yes. I forgot to mention.
What
it.
about Dean Ambrose?
Big time.
Oh, yeah,
Big time.
very
Dean
talented.
Ambrose is a guy you can push.
He can talk.
He's more polished than Roman Reigns
Very
is.
polished, yes.
When Richard and I went to SmackDown, Dean Ambrose and Cesaro, they got a big pop from the crowd. Because the rest of the show was, I mean, him and I had to start several
We started several chants.
chants.
I mean,
Did people catch on to him?
yes,
And chant? Okay.
yes.
Yeah, Richard's known for that. He always starts stuff. He the one got Kurt Angle, you suck.
suck, yeah.
He's the one who started that.
Are you serious? You think so?
we went to Monday Night Raw, which I just started saying it because like I heard the
You
tone.
suck.
Yeah.
When the music started playing, he started that.
Little trivia fact, the Patriot used that theme first. And then,
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
you remember?
Yep.
Yeah, because I knew it sounded familiar when I first heard it.
Yeah.
But as far as WrestleMania, let me get your thoughts on this Fastlane pay-per-view. First of all, Elimination Chamber being ousted. Mistake?
Yes.
Am I?
Yes.
Because it was great, wasn't it?
It was. It was. I think that they're just trying to fill a pay-per-view spot before WrestleMania. That's my opinion. I don't think it's going to be a great pay-per-view, but hopefully it changes.
I don't
We'll see.
either. Especially the Daniel Bryan-Roman Reigns match for the #1 contendership for WrestleMania. It just seems like it defeats the Royal Rumble, doesn't it?
It does. Makes no sense. I don't know who booked it. Because Reigns is going to win regardless.
That's what I think.
That's what if they're going to push him, he's going to go over regardless.
Yeah. I mean, I see him winning the belt and maybe dropping it to somebody. That's what I hope.
But see,
Maybe he jobs it to Rollins that night because Rollins still has the
Rollins going to
He's
cash in
gotta
the briefcase
cash
the
it.
next night.
He's gotta.
He might cash it in right there at WrestleMania. And that's the end of the show. That'd be interesting.
It would.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. So those are the guys that should be in that top spot. But one of the matches I'm looking forward to, I'd love to see, is Sting and Triple H.
Yes.
Now that I'm looking forward to.
That's gonna be a classic.
That's going to be the seller.
Veteran guys.
You got 2 seasoned veterans. They both can talk. They both have great characters. Triple H, in my opinion, is one of the best guys to bring the intimidation.
Right.
You know, I mean, he does a stare down. I mean, just absolutely perfect.
Oh, yeah.
So to have him be in WrestleMania against the legend Sting, that's phenomenal.
That's gonna just tear the roof off the.
He makes good matches great because, I mean, number one, inside the ring, he calls great spots. Like
Definitely.
if you remember the spot where the Undertaker was going to do the last ride, he had the sledgehammer. He I was like, wow, Triple H called that spot.
I bet he did.
And then also when he tore his ACL, Jericho was like, dude, you hurt. He said, dude, I don't care. Put me in the walls of Jericho.
He knows the game.
He knows the game.
He knows the business. He studied the business before he got into the business. I mean, he's the game.
Yeah, and see, you have to have guys like that around to bring the young talent up to that level. So when they get in a similar situation, you know exactly what to do and when to do.
And you know that's why NXT is doing so good.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
That's his. That's all his.
That's what I was thinking.
Yep.
We're thinking along the same lines.
Matter of fact, don't they have an NXT event this week or next week?
I think you're right. They do.
That's going to be good.
If you get the WWE Network $9.99, you'll be able to see it. But
pay us for that plug, bro.
I had to try it. But anyway, or you got to go back and look at the old footage with the Red Rooster as a wrestler.
Okay.
We had to go there. You know what I mean?
We always got to mention that.
Yes, that's right. We'll find
in
a way.
character at least.
Yeah. Now, so Sting and Triple H is just going to be a barn burner. It's going to be a good match, I would think.
Absolutely. Plus, the fans want it, and it's either now or never.
Right.
I mean, he can't wait no more because he's at the end of his career.
Well, what about the Undertaker?
There's
I
no
don't
point.
See him
okay, in my opinion, there's no point.
Yeah.
And the Undertaker sent out a tweet or something that the day that I wrestle, and like, let's say Richard and I go, and Richard's like, man, this guy used to have it back in the day. And Undertaker's, in his mind, if people start talking like that about him, it's done.
Yeah. But see, it seems like the Undertaker just wasn't all there this last WrestleMania. It didn't quite look the same. But Sting, I think, may still have it.
Yeah.
Especially with TNA.
He does.
He's done. But if there is one match that I would like to see out of Taker, it would be Taker versus Sting, but that's not good.
Great.
That's the only viable match that I think he has left.
Yeah, people have been wanting that for years. I mean, I can remember them talking about that back when I was in the locker room, and they would love to see Sting and Taker because of the character and the way they work, and they know how to carry each other. It won't be one of those shows where the one guy be injuring the other. It'll be a great match.
2 veterans.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, we're going to have to wrap this up here in just several seconds, but you guys see WrestleMania as being just a blockbuster this year? I'm not seeing it.
Nope.
Not yet. No.
I don't feel it.
It's a Rubik's Cube, and they don't have any idea how to put it together.
That's sad.
Yeah.
They got time. They need to do something now.
Hurry up.
They got time, but they got to make an impact move, and they better make it start this Monday night.
Maybe they'll bring the Dudleys. I don't know. To try to get the crowd to pop. I mean, people went nuts when Bubba Ray Dudley came
out. They love him.
They did.
Still do.
But right now, we've got Fastlane to, I guess, look forward to. And then after that, hopefully that will set up WrestleMania and we'll set up a decent WrestleMania. We can certainly hope. And all right, guys, we're going to have to wrap it up. But we'll see you 2 weeks from now right here on Wrestling Addicts. Until then, this is Jimmy Anderson signing off, reminding you that the best addictions are the safest addictions. See you next time.